Sekou Sherry coming to talk. Liberian, listen to the voice of Liberia. It is time to talk. Bringing sense to the issue for better discussion. Sekou Sherry coming to talk.
Sekou Sherry say,
Liberia, listen to the voice of Liberia. It is time to talk. Bringing sense to the issue for better discussion. Sekou Sherry coming.
Whenever you wake up early in the morning, you need to say thank you to Allah. When you've got the time to move during the afternoon, evening hours, up to the night hours, you need to say thank you to God Almighty. There are lots of things happening, and it is the only great thing we need to do to say thank you to God Almighty. If you're Muslim, say what you believe in. If you're Christian, also do the same. Good evening, folks, and welcome to the show. Issues of today, right here on Voice of Liberia 104.1, coming to you from Capital Bypass in Monrovia. And it feels good to be here today after the weekend, and someone said the holiday. And so we, good evening, folks, and welcome to the show.
Liberia, listen to the voice of Liberia. It is time to talk. Bringing sense to the issue for better discussion. Sekou Sherry coming to talk.
Sekou Sherry say,
Liberia, listen to the voice of Liberia. It is time to talk. Bringing sense to the issue for better discussion. Sekou Sherry coming to talk. Liberia, listen to the voice of Liberia. It is time to talk. Bringing sense to the issue for better discussion. Sekou Sherry coming to talk.
Sekou Sherry say,
Liberia, listen to the voice of Liberia. It is time to talk. Bringing sense
discussion.
Sekou Sherry.
Sekou Sherry coming to talk.
Okay, folks, good evening and welcome to the show, Issues of Today, here on Voice of Liberia. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. You know, usually we converge to talk about the issues that matter. We talk about the important issues, bringing lots of issues to the attention of the Liberian people. You know, it is always important, you know, to have, God, it is always important to have some important information that you need to share to the Liberian people so that they can be informed about it. And so tonight, let me just give you the lineup of what's going to be doing on tonight's edition. We're going to go to our international correspondence at 7 o'clock. 6:30, sorry. At 6:30, we'll go to our international correspondence where we'll talk to a few of our international correspondents today to know what are the issues making news in other parts of the world. And we'll return at 7 o'clock. Our discussion was centered around, you know, there's been lots of articles being written and published by Mr. Michael Rubin. Michael Rubin is an American citizen, and he's a senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. And we've done our own research and background investigation. We've been able to uncover lots of things. We've been able to uncover lots of things concerning Michael Rubin. And so tonight, we're going to take 2 hours of our time. And we will take our time and explain to the Liberian people and also explain in simple Liberian English so as to enlighten the minds of the people. You know, and it falls under the watch of Mr. Alexander Cummings, who wants to be president of Liberia, but the only thing he knows how to do best is to sponsor, or for a better word, pay people to give false stories about the government of Liberia under the Weah-led administration. And based on our investigation, we uncovered in one of his articles he wrote and published, he's even insinuating that 2023 Cummings likely to become the president of Liberia, while he went ahead to denigrate and he wrote all the bad things about President Weah and the government. And so tonight at 7 o'clock, invite someone to listen and also share the live. You know, like I said, as we move towards elections, there will be lots of propaganda. There will be lots of things that people will come and say about individuals, about the government, about institutions. I'm not saying it is a bad thing to say when there are wrongs. But to fabricate and make it to look like there are wrongs when it is proving that there are no wrongs of what you're reporting of. So at 7, I'm going to read you 3 of his many articles he wrote. One of the articles, he said, the president of Liberia, His Excellency George Weah, was not given the diplomatic accord in terms of respect when he arrived at the airport in the United States, the JFK. And I'll read you that entire article. And also he wrote an article in this year about the Secretary General of the Congress of Democratic Change in person of Jefferson Tamakoji. And I will read you the other article where he mentioned that President Biden is against corruption and the Liberian government has continued to live with the practice of corruption to the extent they needed to give sanction. And so it is likely possible that Cummings could become the next president of the country when the election free fair, because it is Cummings that the people want, an American citizen. But I will also tell you who is this individual? What has he done in other countries? What other governments they've done to his actions? I will also let you know. Everything tonight we're going to discuss them with facts. We're not going to discuss based on everything I will say tonight. I will read from documentations. The only thing I will not read, it is because it is in the Russian language. I'm trying to get it from the Russian language to English. A whole list of sanctions. And Michael Rubin is one of the persons that was sanctioned by the Russian government due to his involvement. Now, Michael Rubin is noted for always doing untrue stories or read out for self-benefit. Evidence of what you're going to be reading and what other governments and I know, Ravi, and other government of what he has done. So tonight, I want you to listen. Let me say this. I think Mr. Cummings is misplaced, or he's wrongly doing certain things that he's not getting the actual result, but he yet to learn from some of the mistakes. But at 7 o'clock, we will dig deep into that issue. There are some things I will say to you. There are some articles I'm going to read to you. And when I correct all of the mistakes in all the articles and support them with facts, not on my own feelings, support them with facts, you will get to know that you want to believe even some of the killings in our country, someone who want to link it to Mr. Cummings. You know why? He might not be directly doing it, but he uses people to do lots of things in our country. And on Monday, the reason why I won't play it tomorrow, on Monday, I will play you the voice of Benina Ure, where he admitted that he was being poisoned by people sent by Alexander Cummings. I will play you the voice on this radio. But we will get to that issue. But our housekeeping, I've been receiving lots of calls coming, some other people are telling me, how far is the case with Councillor Musu's cult, and what is it the police is saying, and all of that. Listen, we've not received the final report from the police, but sources close to all the investigations, they've confided in us. Even though one of the person's name has not come up in the public to that extent, but I'm told he must have been at the scene when the incident occurred, which is Senator Setuma from Bomi County. This thing will bring lots of names, and it will be shocking to you people. But some of the things I've heard from very high-placed souls or sources, Madam Gloria Musu's cult has been asked not to leave the country. Allegedly, she wanted to leave Liberia. So she's been asked and advised not to leave the borders of Liberia. She should remain here until the entire investigation can be conducted. Findings are out. I'm told the forensic team of the Liberia National Police, they've gone to the home of Madam Scott. They've been able to take all of what they needed to in terms of specimens to carry out the process. So when the police comes up with any report, they can be able to stand in the court of competent jurisdiction to defend whatsoever report. But what we're getting, it is contrary for what we've been hearing. Oh, they say that a person did this, that a person did this. What we are getting, it is quite different. And there's something that people are not willing to tell the people now. So, Mr. Jerome Verdier, up to present, he has not been able to provide whatsoever he said he had against the people he alleged were part of the process. But let me remind the Liberian people tonight, I said this and I'm going to say it again. The Justice Minister, Councillor Frank Musadin, should recuse himself. Reason is just simple. When the incident occurred, according to Madam Scott, the very first person she ran to was the Minister of Justice. A well-landed woman knows that the first contact point is the police. I'm not sure she would tell me she doesn't have the police director number or to run to the police headquarters for rescue. But she ran to the home of the Justice Minister. So we want to know, what did Councillor Musu's cult tell the Justice Minister when she arrived in that condition? why didn't she go to the police, but instead she went to, the Minister of Justice? So we need to be asking the Minister of Justice, what is it he knows about this case? He needs to tell the Liberian people. Because now, if we're not careful, people will want to hide themselves behind certain things. You cannot tell me that your daughter was involved into something or whatsoever, and you went to the extent that person got killed in the process, knowing fully where the person got killed. You did not ask so that investigation can be launched, so that the perpetrator can be held liable for what they've done. But you took the body and sent it to St. Moses. What was the intent or the motive behind the action of Councillor Musu's car? These are things that continue to pop the heads of people, and they want to ask, why is it that the people are doing what they're doing? So we hope and pray that Councillor Gloria Mususka should have no knowledge of what happened. But I'm convinced and I'm told that eyes are on her now because of the way the investigation is going, from the way, informations are coming in. The securities at the home of Madam Gloria Mususkat, they've been able to inform the police or whatsoever that no intruders they saw. No one entered there from outside. No. So anything must have happened. It was done from within. So who are those that were there that night? I'm told the senator of Bomi County, Setuma, was there. I don't want to go into that private life. But they say he was there. What he went there for? Maybe the investigation will uncover that and let the Liberian people know. But this is just, more than what we see and more than what we say. Sometimes people can. I always say this. We should not politicize everything that we do or say. Politics should be aside, and this is about the life of another person. If Madam Gloria Mususka knows about what has happened, she needs to face the weight or bear the weight of the law. That is just clear enough. But bringing these things, putting their own government, say, that government official, or that John Brown, that they person, that person, at the end of the day, if that is not proven, let me tell Councillor Gloria Mususka, let me say this to Jerome Verdier and all the other people that must have done what they've done to get this thing to where it is. There are a few things you're going to provide and platform you're going to give to the Secretary General, Jefferson Koji, if this investigation is being conducted, because I'm told, let me tell you, not one person on the investigation, the police is heading the investigation, but you got an independent Human Rights Commission, you got the Bar Association, you got the female lawyers or whatsoever, that organization, you got the U.S. Embassy representatives. All the representatives of various institutions are part and parcel of this investigation. So that means the result from this investigation, no one's going to say, it's bias, or they didn't want to point a person, that I made, they bring the other person. No. It is an independent investigation being witnessed by all the relevant institutions that we all will always call upon. So you got the U.S. Embassy representatives, you got the Independent Human Rights Commission representatives, You got the Bar Association representatives. You got the Female Lawyers Association representatives. You got other institution representatives are all part of this investigation to know the actual cause of death. Who are those behind the death of this innocent child? So if any report that will come out, if it is on the head of Madam Gloria Musu-Scott, it is authentic. If it is on the head of Senator Setuma from Bomi County, it is authentic. Mind you, we move into elections. Many things will happen. People, children will get missing. It is to satisfy the things of the very people that want to be in power. If it is the Secretary General of CDC, he should accept it. If it is on Valley Tyler head, he should accept it. Because if it is going to prove that Jerome Verdier lied to the Liberian people, he needs to accept it. So you have all these things. But let me say a few things before we go to the international desk. If this thing proves contrary to what whosoever they must have said against the Secretary General, you know what you've done? You're going to vindicate him from all the lies you've said about him. So people will get to know that you just say things because you hate this man. Because up to present, Jerome Verdier now cannot prove or show any evidence of what he has said. But if this goes on the head of the Secretary General, it shows that almost all the things that people have said about him, it is truth. But from what we are getting, from what our sources, part of the investigation they are telling us, Madam Scott might likely be a possible suspect. In extension, her friend, Setuma, the senator of Bomi County that wants to retain his position. But we leave that alone and we wait on the police investigation. We wait to see or to hear what the police investigation is going to come up with, what is it they're going to say, and what are some of the things going to come up. But now let's go to our international desk to talk to our international correspondent to see as whether we can talk to our international correspondents on the program this evening. When we come back now, we're going to take the rest of our time to talk about Michael Rubin. Most of you, it will interest you to know about some of the things that Mr. Cummins, he goes ahead doing. Let's go to Sierra Leone to talk to the man, John Whitfield. John, good evening.
Good evening, Sir Quinn. Thanks for having me.
How is Freetown tonight?
Freetown is quiet. Freetown is quiet and it's conducive at the same time.
Now, John, Sierra Leone's Anti-Corruption Commission, in collaboration with the Central Intelligence and Security Agency and the Financial Intelligence Unit, has commenced investigation into criminal allegations against the president of the IP group of companies and his company. There are lots of concerns coming. Give us more details about this development issue on criminal allegation with regards to the app group of companies in the country.
So, few months back, the company marked the sale of future affordable homes to members of the public, and they said that they will be available for ownership after they would have commenced and continued payments of various sums of them. And this for them, they said, it's, as a basis for future ownership of housing. Because when it comes to the issue of rentage in Sierra Leone, it is very, very high as compared to the cost of living. So these people came, they said it's part of the project development, and that as long as Sierra Leoneans are paying little by little, they will be building houses for them. And eventually in the future, these houses will belong to them. And when they came, you have many government parasitas who were part of the official launching, and that seemed to make it look authentic, and that gave many Sierra Leoneans the cause and urge to be part of such a business.
How did the ACC come to know about this issue?
Well, according to the Anti-Corruption Commission, they said that for about a week or a month ago, they have been doing what they call a joint surveillance of their activities. And this, they said, it's over a month ago, and they have been doing this in connection with the security apparatus in Ghana as well as in Nigeria. They've been working with the Central Intelligence and Security Agency and also the Financial Intelligence Unit to find more about this. But also we have a whistleblower. Remember the same whistleblower who blew the issues about fake degrees within the government structure. This is the same whistleblower, Dr. Idris Lai, who also brought this to the attention of the public, even though the SEC did not pay any credit to him for the SEC. They said this has been a long investigation that they have been doing. And funnily, this individual has been using different names. In Nigeria, he used a different name by the name of Aladura Moses. In Ghana, he used a different name by the name of Edward Alex Phillips. And when he came to Sierra Leone, he used a different name by the name of Alex Olubode Phillips. So it sounds so complicating and confusing, so that there will be no trace of criminality from him.
But John, they were part of the official launch of the project. How comes they did not verify first before going ahead to do such?
Sako, this is the $1 in a million question every Sierra Leonean, especially those who are now victims of this situation, have been asking. And indeed, the SEC sent a representative when they had the official launch of this project. They had a few parastatals who also sent representatives. So, you see, the man is very, very clever. Changing of names and making you feel and believe that indeed the project is real. They have failed to do verification. They have failed to do proper cross-checking. They have failed to monitor whether the project is true or real. And you know the urge for housing in this part of the world. It's very, very difficult. So they themselves as an institution also are fall victims. They have been fraud, and they are also concerned about the situation.
John, before we leave you, how true it is that the security apparatus from Ghana and Nigeria are interested in this development?
Yes, they are very much interested in the development. That is why we have two security bodies, one from Nigeria, one from Ghana. They call them the Central Intelligence and Security Agency, and also you have the Financial Intelligence Unit. So they are so much interested. In fact, the report have been getting is that the security apparatus in Nigeria has requested from the government of Sierra Leone to in fact hand over the man. If at all they have arrested him, they want him to be handed over to them, because the same fraud he has done now in Sierra Leone, he did the same fraud in Nigeria, he did the same fraud in Ghana.
Thank you very much, John Warfield, voice of Liberia, Sierra Leone correspondent, joining us tonight on the show from Sierra Leone about this development. We go to Nigeria, where we're going to talk to Naomi Kombenda about the Nigerian Independent National Electoral Commission, where they've postponed governorship and state assemblies elections earlier scheduled for Saturday, March 11 to March 18. Why they've decided to do such? Naomi Kombenda will join us on the line from Nigeria to fill us in with this development. I'm told the election result in Nigeria has been contested, and I think this should be taken to the court. But Naomi will tell us more about this. Why is it they've looking at how the folks there, they've gone through campaign, carry out all of the campaign activities, and thinking that Saturday will be the elections, and it has been postponed to the 18 instead of the 11 in Nigeria. And Naomi Kombenda is Voice of Liberia correspondent in Nigeria. Naomi, good evening and thank you for joining us tonight.
Good evening, Sekou. Thank you for having me.
Why did the Independent National Electoral Commission postpone the elections of the governorship and state assemblies?
Thank you, Sekou. So INEC said it could not go ahead with the governorship polls as earlier scheduled. It needed time to reconfigure the BVAS machine. You are aware of the controversy going on about the BVAS machine, where aggrieved parties are urging that they inspect the BVAS machine to compare the results from the BVAS database with what INEC was giving. And so the court already gave orders to some parties to inspect the BVAS. And we have about 176,000 BVAS machines. So that took time. Distributed to all the states and also local governments for the conduct of the election and all the little hitches that they had in the INEC offices.
So now, has the court granted OB and his counterpart access to inspect the BVAS machine he has raised issued about?
Yeah, the court handed down the order in the ruling it gave on Friday, granting permission to OB and his People's Democratic Party counterpart Atiku Abubakar to inspect the materials used for the conduct of the elections. But then INEC also wrote an application asking the court to vary its order, restraining it from tampering with the BVAS machine, which it argued that had to be reconfigured for the governorship elections. And so after much debate, the INEC took an affidavit to the court promising that the database of the BVAS will not be tampered with. And so the court now has to tell Peter Obi and the rest that they should please hold on. Since the database will not be tampered with, they can still investigate their issues after the gubernatorial elections.
So
it was a yes and eventually a no.
Has the Independent National Electoral Commission been granted its request by the court to reconfigure the BVAS machines?
Of course, before the court gave INEC the go-ahead on the BVAS reconfiguration, the commission had yet to start distribution. That's what I'm trying to tell you, of the electoral materials, because these are the machines that are being investigated. So the court gave the permission when the machines were still being investigated. So the permission came rather late, and that was one of the reasons why INEC postponed the election. But yes, the Court of Appeal Supreme Court rather has given INEC the go-ahead to reconfigure the BVAS machines, which will be used on the 18th of this month for the gubernatorial and House of Assembly elections.
Thank you very much, Naomi Kombenda from Nigeria on the program tonight, listening to what's coming there. The election, that's the governorship and state assemblies elections. It has been postponed to the 18th instead of the 11th of this month. So we're going to go to somewhere else and talk to our next correspondent. That's the man, Amadou Kante. Amadou Kante is Voice of Liberia correspondent there in the Gambia, where following a long legal tussle, Gambia's former Fisheries Permanent Secretary Bamba Banja has finally been sentenced to a 2-year mandatory jail term from accepting 100,000 bribe from a Chinese private company in September 2018 to free their vessel detained for engaging in illicit fishing in that part of the. Okay, so Amadou joins us now from the Gambia. Amadou, good evening and thank you for joining us tonight.
Yes, good evening, Sekou, and thank you very much for having me once again.
Now, what has been the public reaction on Mr. Baja's sentencing after he was found guilty of the crime?
Well, once again, thank you very much. There has been contrasting reaction from the Gambian people, and especially for those that are in support of the government, have welcomed the news positively and have, in a way, said that this has shown that the government under the leadership of President Barrow, have shown that it is so much interested in fighting corruption, despite who might be involved in any case that has been reported in the country. But if you talk to others, they might tell you, I mean, this case has been going on for years, and there has not been much commitment that has been shown by the government, to end corruption. So it has been in a divided opinion from the Gambian people. Not everybody have welcomed the news positively. There have been some, what should I say, contrasting reaction from ordinary Gambian, from the Gambian people, and especially for those that are in support of the government, have welcomed the news positively and have, in a way, said that this has shown that the government under the leadership of President Barrow, have shown that it is so much interested in fighting corruption, despite who might be involved in any case that has been reported in the country. But if you talk to others, they might tell you, I mean, this case has been going on for years, and there has not been much commitment that has been shown by the government. Amadou
did
in a divided opinion from the Gambian people. Not everybody have welcomed the news positively. There have been some, what should I say, contrasting reaction from ordinary Gambian, from the Gambian people, and especially for those that are in support of the government, have welcomed the news positively and have, in a way, said that this has shown that the
okay, let me go back to Amadou to talk to him. I think, okay, we observed the same thing the other time. He keeps repeating himself. I don't know, is it from his end? But let's go back to Amadou to talk to him so we can have him on. And then we can call it a day, then we'll move on here tonight to talk about something different. So we're trying to see as well we can establish this contact with Amadou Kante. Amadou Kante is Voice of Liberia correspondent in Gambia. Amadou, good evening.
Yes, good evening, Sekou. Thanks for having me back.
Okay, yeah, you were saying something, but it kept repeating itself. Now, did Mr. Badja himself reacted to his sentencing from the court?
Indeed, yes. I was just trying to explain what has been the general reaction of Gambians on the High Court decision on Mr. Badja's corruption case, which has been going on for years now, and the ruling was made yesterday. And like I mentioned earlier, there's been contrasting reaction among Gambians. For those that are in favor of the government, who tell you it's been a welcoming news, and that this shows that in a way that the Barrow government is committed to fighting corruption. And in the other way around, if you talk to some ordinary Gambians, they might tell you, especially those in the civil society, that this in no means shows that the government of Barrow is, showing any sign of corruption in this country, because there have been many reported cases in the country, and to have it only this case doesn't mean much, in his government's commitment to end corruption, as the public has been all along calling for government to act in many scandals about the report. There's been contrasting reaction among Gambians. For those that are in favor of the government, who tell you it's been a welcoming news, and that this shows that in a way that the Barrow government is committed to fighting corruption.
Okay, Amadou, corruption, Amadou,
those in the civil society. Amadou, this in no means shows that the government of Barrow is, showing any sign of corruption in this country, because there have been many reported cases in the country, and to have it only this case doesn't mean much, in his government's commitment to end corruption, as the public has been all along calling for government to act in many scandals about the report. There's been contrasting reaction among Gambians. For those that are in favor of the government, who tell you it's been a welcoming news, and that this shows that in a way that the Barrow government is committed to fighting corruption. And in the other way around, if you talk to some ordinary Gambians, they might tell you, especially those in the civil society, that this in no means shows that the government of Barrow is, showing any sign of pending corruption in this country, because there have been many reported cases in the country, and to having only this case doesn't mean much, in his government's commitment to end corruption, as the public has been all along calling for government to act in many scandals that have been reported. There's been contrasting reaction among Gambians. For those that are in favor of the government, will tell you it's been a welcoming news, and that this shows that in a way that the Barrow government is committed to fighting corruption.
Amadou,
in the other way around, if you talk to some ordinary Gambians, yeah.
Okay, so okay, let's do this. I think Amadou Kante. So Amadou, all the other people. Okay, let me go back to Amadou. I don't know. Is it? Okay, so we will end on Amadou Kante tonight. So we'll move on after Amadou Kante. Then we'll go talk about this all-important issue we want to discuss. Amadou?
Yes,
But Amadou, you keep repeating yourself. I'm trying to ask you, and you keep repeating yourself. What's going?
Let me see. It's not. Maybe it's in line. You
No,
asked me one question. I don't know.
Yeah, so but you answered the question, and I kept asking, and you kept saying the same thing, and I want to ask. But let's move on to this. Now, corruption is widely reported in the Gambia. Do this latest development could serve as a wake-up call to the state in its quest now to fight corruption in the country?
Yes, indeed, yes. I think this may serve as a wake-up call to especially those that are in the government, because in fact, when the ruling was made, the Minister of Justice did issue a statement via its Twitter page saying that, this is a landmark ruling that shows that the government is committed.
Okay, we lost him, and that's how we call it. We call it a day on this issue. Yeah, we need to move on to something different. Okay, folks. Okay, so we're back after our international updates. We're back now to move ahead with some other important informations and important issues, by the way. Okay. For those of you listening tonight, when you call the name Michael Rubin, it's spelled as MRCHAEL-RUBIN. You want to ask, who is he? Why is it important, in fact, to talk about him? What significance he has to the body politics of our country or his workings? You know, your question could be better and asked rightly, but somehow, some way, his actions is to give the government a bad picture, in a sense where people will say, oh, the government has done nothing, or the government has failed on this, or he makes those of the people that follow his articles to believe whatsoever he writes out. So Michael Rubin was born 1971. I want to give you detailed information about him. He's a senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. He previously worked as an official at the Pentagon, where he dealt with issues relating to the Middle East, and as a political advisor to the Coalition Provisional Authority. And he got his BS degree from Yale University in biology. In 1994, Yale University, at the time, like I said, and he got the PhD in history in 1999. Someone will say, so he's a writer. He writes, and most of his writings are supported by interest of what he writes to seek. Right? So, and you know the truth can't hide. So, I will reach to that. Thank you very much, manager. So this man more information coming. The man very nice. Okay, I get that one there. Okay, let's move ahead. Let me get this. Okay, so this man is known for writing articles, and most of the articles or most of what he does is paid for. Like, for example, if he comes to Liberia, which he has done, I'm not talking in person, and he decides to support you, party A or individual A, he goes about writing all sorts of articles about the person in which you are against. It is not about his independence or a truth-telling story person that will write articles and reference facts. No. All what he does, it is about defaming the character or image of another person for the selfish interest of the person in which he has been hired for or hired by. So this man was being hired by Alexander Cummings. He was being hired by Alexander Cummings with the sole intent to defame or give a bad picture about the government, the George Weah-led administration, with his write out, his articles, and so people will believe that either the government of Liberia under President Weah has done nothing. So, on the 9th of August 2022, a story was being published by Analyst newspaper, and the caption reads, Cummings hosted an honored guest at AER, American Enterprise Institute, Lechigon in Washington, D.C. Let me read you the story because I want to give you the entire historicity. Then before I go to, the main job he's been doing, because this man was being hired by Cummins. And so all what he does, it is in the interest of giving a bad picture about the government, even though most of the things he will post or write are going to straighten all of the contradictions in all of his articles he has done. Yes, it said the standard bearer of the ANC, the main opposition bloc leader. Sometimes too, when the people writing story, you got to make it fun. You got to beautify it. That thing in journalism, sometimes the people, that one part, everybody can do it. So when the people say the main political opposition leader, I just made the man feel fun. The standard bearer of the ANC, the main opposition bloc leader, Mr. Alexander B. Cummins, was the honored guest as a luncheon hosted by Mr. Michael Rubin, Senior Fellow, Foreign and Defense Policy, American Enterprise Institute, during his recent visit to Washington, D.C., USA. The luncheon was attended by some of the most strategic policy analysts and think tank members in the political capital of the United States of America, Washington, D.C. In his welcome remarks, Dr. Rubin observed that even though the United States and the world are faced with many global challenges and crises, these global problems should not take focus away from Liberia, a traditional friend and partner of the United States, which is struggling to consolidate its fragile democracy and sustain post-conflict reconstruction. Liberia and the United States are inextricably linked by history, and the United States has an obligation to ensure Liberia remains a bulwark of democracy and defender of Americans' ideals of freedom and liberty in Africa at the time of raising competition between democracy and autocracy around the world. Dr. Rubin observed that the current challenges to democracy and human rights now include Russia's invasion of Ukraine, COVID-19 pandemic, war, hunger, blah, 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 in response to the lofty toast. And at his, so that Cummins letter they place there, the Alternative National Congress and me opposition candidate, Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummins, responded that he was most humbled by the honor shown by Mr. Michael Rubin in hosting the Logigon to hear his policies and plans for Liberia as the country prepares for the 2023 presidential elections. He informed the guests that he was running to be president of Liberia with a commitment team to fix a broken country and put it on the trajectory for sustained growth and development, bringing with him over 30 years of executive and managerial experience and integrity. The Liberia is too rich to be listed among the poorest countries in the world. Like Cummins talking, and the progress achieved in the immediate post-conflict period has been reversed in the last 5 years, meaning he referring to George Weah government of the current government. Rule of law and integrity institutions have been undermined. The security situation in the country has become precious while the economy teasers to the brink. Another 6 years under the current government will make it difficult, if not impossible, to attract serious investment needed to create jobs and grow the economy. I come in speaking so on our program now. The country will become more and more susceptible to investors of savory character and unhealthy activities, including humor and drug trafficking and money laundering, for which the country will not have the political will or machinery to resist. He stated that with the right leadership and commitment, Liberia can be turned around. The congressional support as is being envisaged could go a long way to help prevent the country from sliding into crisis again, and adequate funding for election integrity for 2023 elections is critical. Mr. Cummings, who is arguably the lead opposition candidate in present-day Liberia, most especially after a closely attempted by the government and some members of the opposition to prosecute him for blah, 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 blah. He called for increased funding by Congress to the Development Finance Corporation, Millennium Challenge Corporation. Mr. Cummings noted that the West African sub-region is going through. Okay, so Mr. Cummings now, on this program, where he was invited, he said all the bad things. And you listen to the story I just read. So from that place, Mr. Cummings and Michael Rubin, an American citizen, senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, they decided to work together with the sole intent to give a bad picture about the George Weah-led administration. So after that process, the work started. After that process, so you will believe that almost all the stories that have been written by this individual, they are all stories of hate, not story backed by facts, nothing in account. But he made these things because it has been agreed Mr. Cummings is paying this man to do what he's doing, which is not secret that Mr. Cummings does all the time. He pays people to do these things, right? He pays people to do these things. So this is one of the articles Michael Rubin published on September 20th, 2022. September 20th, 2022. Yes, it. It says, the embassy, the State Department gives Liberia the rough state treatment. You listen to the main headline, the caption of his story, the State Department gives Liberia the rough state treatment. He placed the picture of the president, and he said Liberia President George Weah in 2019. I'm going to read you this story, and I'll read all the other articles he has done, and I will connect you. I will straighten the contradictions in his publication, but I just want you to understand that all what he does, and he continues to do, it is for the interest of Mr. Cummings. He's been hired, paid by Mr. Cummings to do what he's doing. Yes, it. When Liberia's President George Weah arrived in New York this past weekend, by that time he was doing the story, he may have expected to be met with the same pomp as every other head of state arriving to attend the United Nations General Assembly. Instead, he and his delegation found themselves detained. Listen. He said, he and what? They found themselves where? Detained. So what did he do? That detained on the page, for some of you, I will be showing it to you so that you can see it. On this, his story page, when you see here, for those of you watching, hey God, I want you to see you. hope my producer's name. Okay. So you'll see a place there in blue. He placed detained in that story. So when you click on the detained, it sends you, he's not the original person of that story. He has no facts as to whether the president, whosoever they were detained, he ain't got no facts. So what he does, he goes to another story and go into it and come and speak as if to say he's speaking with authority, that he has picture, he has video, he has everything where the president were detained along with his entourage. They were detained. Right? Yes. So when you come on the page to tell you that because that story that they posted was false and misleading, it is GNN Liberia. The people took it. There's nothing on that page to locate where President Weah and his entourage were detained. And you see it? For those of you that are watching, now line number 1, the man said, listen, let me go back to it. Let me read the story. He published this story in 2022. September 2022, Michael Rubin, an American senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. This man is being hired by Alexander Cummings to write all the bad stories about George Weah administration. But like I said, all of the articles that he has been able to write, I will straighten all of the contradictions and I will correct all of the mistakes and I will prove them with facts. And I will tell you what this man has done in other countries, what other countries have done to him based on his actions. So that man wrote this story. He never had any facts to say, oh, it is true that I got picture to show President Weah and his entourage. They were sitting there and they were looking around. No one could come to them. Or I have a video footage where you could see them in it. Because when you're doing these kinds of articles, you need to do them with facts. You need to back them with facts. Because, for example, when you say President Weah was detained at the airport, you should be able to show us picture where the man is sitting and you don't see anyone. Or maybe he's standing, he doesn't have any way out to go. But there's one thing you need to understand. Before I go to this thing to continue on the mistakes, there's no way possible. I'm not talking about George Weah going as George Weah. I'm not talking about maybe Julius Maada Bio going as Julius Maada Bio. But once you are going as a sitting president, listen, America is not forced to invite you. They cannot invite you. And they cannot invite you. It cannot invite you. My man Dola can say the ANC man asking. My man can ask. I like that question you're asking. I will come to you, my brother. And I hope you call on the show. Now listen. There's no way possible, right? That the U.S. government, you are going to attend the UN General Assembly. Hey, God, propaganda about you. Then you say you reach on airport. Now, even before you leave from your country to where you are going in the United States, all the protocols and all the things are put in place. Even the common person you are carrying in your delegation, they will be fully respected. Least to talk about a president. I wonder the guys sometimes when they do these things, they can have a second thought. But because we have ourselves in a country which is gullible, you say a sitting president will go and be humiliated on an airport? Are you kidding me? As you leaving the flight, you are having a vehicle that's going to pick you up. You have all the protocols in order. All the things you need to do. So listen, let me read the story. Our man Michael Rubin wrote. He said, when Liberia's President George Weah arrived in New York this past weekend, he may have expected to be met with the same pomp as every other head of state arriving to attend the United Nations General Assembly. Instead, he and his delegation found themselves Listen to the story. I'm on the main website, though. My man Dolake, I want you to listen, yo. You see it? So when you see that story here, you will see in a blue there, you will see detained. So when you click on a detained, it takes you to a website that calls GNN Liberia. GNN Liberia cannot maintain this story because they know it is not truth. So it is no longer on this page. So in fact, Michael Rubin is not speaking with a very, he doesn't have the facts. He speaks based on what others will say, or maybe you just hear they say, or you just go on Facebook, you just go see something, and then you go take it. You're not even trying to authenticate that information, whether it is truth or not. That's lie number one, Michael, whosoever Michael Rubin did. He said at John F. Kennedy Airport for hours, while immigration and enforcement officers treated them as ordinary travelers rather than VIPs. You see the play you lie? Let me tell you something. When presidents, for example, even if, for the worst case scenario, a president, I'm not just limiting this to Liberia, a president leaves from his or her country, and she's traveling or he's traveling, and he has a transit in any country, once the people at the airport, they get to know, he will be treated as a senior official or a senior diplomat, or you'll be accorded that respect until he or she transit to another place that he or she is going. Least to talk about, even now, let me tell you something. Joe Weah is not going for maybe a program organized by the U.S. government. But when he arrives in the United States, as long as he's a sitting president, he's accorded that respect. Least to talk about a UN General Assembly is ongoing, and a certain president is to attend, and he arrives, and you say he goes sit down to an airport? You say you go sit down to an airport? That ought to lie is cheap. For God's sake, that ought to lie cheap. There's no way, it's not possible. That thing is not even possible. In fact, that's the reason why, let me tell you how it works. Every government have that embassies and ambassadors. When President Weah is leaving from Liberia, you got the foreign ministry that will inform the embassy in the United States. Before President Weah gets there, all the protocols being put in place. That's the reason why the ambassadors are there. That's how it works. So how can you say, oh, yeah, they may go, he not get a play to say it, and then the people then see. In fact, an ordinary person, I will give you plenty of examples. I've traveled a lot. I know how it works. For example, if you travel from here and go to Dubai, and you don't know, you've not been to Dubai, you don't know your way out, but you are expecting someone to go and pick you up. You know what they can do? When you come from in the terminal, they got the names on the sheet, the people standing. Then you can see your name. Then you go to the person, he knows that the person come for you. Least to talk about a certain president, he said they may go treat the general to say that one ordinary person, they go sit down to the place, that another lie, the man lie. There's nothing to prove. The link in which he's depending on, the place is down. No story there. Let's go to the next era. I said all the main articles he wrote. I will tell you all the lies in it. My man Jonathan, my man Dolake Jonathan say tell you the majority. Okay, so let's go to special kinship. It said the United States feels a special kinship with Liberia, a nation founded by freed American slaves 200 years ago. While Liberia weathered 2 civil wars between 1989 and 2003, successive U.S. administrations worked to help Liberians regroup and recover. In 2011, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, I read in the article, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and activist Liberia-VOL both shared the Nobel Peace Prize for their contributions to peace building and nonviolent struggle. There was general optimism that Liberia's path to peace and prosperity will continue when football star Weah won the presidency in 2017 and assumed office in the first week of the new year. In hindsight, Weah's football career should have been a red flag. While talented, his teammates in various African clubs and subsequently in AC Milan never elected him captain. He simply was not a leader of men. And you hear the man? And you see the other lie, the man lie? Listen, let me read the other portion. That one I will not talk. The man say, the president, when he used to play, he said, in hindsight, Weah's football career should have been a red flag. While talented, his teammates in various African clubs and subsequently in AC Milan never elected him captain. He simply was not a leader of men. Let us put this in categories. So if, for example, I'm working with VOL Liberia, and they ask me, I'm one of the major persons here, but because I'm not count on the radio to read news, it means that I'm not journalist, I'm not good journalist. But the mistake you're making, the mistake he's making here is, do you know that the president headed the national team, which is even more bigger than just a club team? You know of that? Maybe you know. Or you know, but you don't want to admit, or you don't want to include it in the story. And the president became successful. You know, sometimes when people talk, we were in this country, and people will say this thing, that George Weah used to take own money and use it for the national team. It was because of George Weah that Liberia went to places that she went to. It is because of George Weah that you had the team they had at the time. When he sacrificed, he did all he could do. But they may say, because the man I'm being captain, so it means that I'm not leader. That the man no definition. Right? They mean the man are not leader. So we go. The leader of Liberia is not leading. The man said in his article. Now, because what this man is doing, he's doing everything to satisfy Mr. Alexander Cummings, because he's being paid by Mr. Alexander Cummings that cannot even be a senator of Montserrat County. Mr. Cummings cannot even win a senatorial race in Montserrat County. A senatorial race, he cannot win it in Montserrat County. Listen to this. As Liberia's president, he has disappointed. His economic stewardship has gone nowhere. He failed to fulfill his legal obligation to set up a war and economic crimes tribunal. The very same woman, let me tell you something. I'm not against the establishment of war and economic crimes court, but there are a few things we need to take into consideration. When we had UNMIL, all the security institutions in Liberia, why didn't any call for war crimes code when we could have more protection and know that the presence of the international community, they were being felt in our country? But sometimes we say, oh, war crimes code. So what they cram in, I want that the man, so because the man now, the president said this, and I'm going to repeat what he said, and it is clear. It is not the president that should, it is not within the purview of the president. The very same lawmakers that Mr. Cummings will get money to the people to go and say, even though he supported all the people, one of them are going to be lawmakers. They are the ones that are responsible to make the law. Yeah? You hear me? They are the ones. Now, the president has said this, once the lawmakers, because they are the direct representative of the Liberian people, once they agree, I have sent it to them, what they will say that, hey, I will do. When last, Michael Robin, you've asked, Cummings to ask his friends he has in the law, in the Capitol building to know how far they've gone with this entire thing. Up to present, nothing has been done. Then you blame, you say, oh, because the men don't do the thing, everything. It say it undermines a tantamount of stability and reverse its democratic progress. While war crimes go free, WIA has used the judiciary to political competitor like Alexander Cummings. Look at that. Joe WIA, the man say, President WIA used the judiciary to go after, and so the man say that Joe WIA, you see the thing I looking. The man said that Joe WIA used the judiciary to go poke Cummings there for he taking the people according to Euro, changing their constitution, doing everything. Then you say, how Joe WIA get to do with the other one? Oh. Well, they got a song on a I just see something again. Hey, listen to me. You see something? But the other Michael Rubin got a really full one now, man, too. Listen, and y'all see the link here? And y'all see the link? Anyway, when you jungle yourself, the how people can eat you, that everybody will be eating comments. All the time Dick and Harris will go to come here and eat a money free. If you see the link here, the man said, while war criminals go free, WIA has used the judiciary, blah, 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 to suppress whatsoever Alexander Cummings. Now, you see that area in blue. Now, the area you see in blue, when you click it, it's supposed to send you to the link of a story or the proof that President WIA has used the judiciary before. Either you see an article or you see a document where it comes from President WIA instructing somebody to use a power or to tell the people to go to court and so when you click that thing, it can carry you to another story. They say, will Biden address Liberia's domestic decline? That different thing there. That different thing. And the thing, the man talking about different thing, yo. Are you kidding me? And in fact, they may go take different story thing and put it in the story for Cummings because Cummings he won't be president, so they can just use it and do all kinds of things. So the man, in fact, when you click on the man's stories that he wrote, the references that he's using to the facts that authenticate the stories, they are all different things. They are nothing of anything to authenticate what he is reporting. So now in a story, when you read an article, for example, and you say, because you cannot take all the document, you post it on a page. So what you do, they have a system in which you can do on the website. And when you have these things in blue, it tells the reader, when he or she clicks that link, it directs the person to the actual source of that information. Right? So, yeah, again, when you click it, the thing carry you to a different story. They may Let me still go. Maybe I'll see another play where I go. Say, last February, President Joe Biden sent a special presidential delegation to ceremonies commensurating. Let me go to the link again. I won't go to the link to see whether at least maybe he put the other one there. President Biden announces presidential delegation to attend the Bassett. Very good. So this is it, right? For those of you, and I will talk to my producers. Let me see if I can have this thing so that you will understand the thing I'm talking. So on this link here, you see the story. On this link, NCA special presidential delegation. When you click this link, you can see the release from the U.S. State Department. Okay. Angie, DebbieH.com. Essentially, when you click that link, it goes directly to the White House. And you see it? So that's how all his links in his story, that's how they should have been. That when you click that link, it takes you to the actual source of that information he's providing to authenticate what he's saying or he's reporting in the story. But out of what we've read, all the links or all the connections he placed there, they are all fiasco. Only one of the many. Only one of the many. And the one of the many is, their document here is a public thing. When the president of the United States, they were sending the delegation here, it was not in secret. That open thing. So to go and get it from there, just click a part of it. So it tells you that out of the articles he has been able to write against the government, 99.9% are all false. That one article, I stay showing you the wrongdoings in the one article. One article, I'm still showing you. Let's go to the next one. To commiserating the arrival of the first free black Americans to what will become Monrovia, the capital named after U.S. President James Monroe. Delegation head Dana Banks used her speech to caution Liberia. He put another link there. I'm opening the link to see. Ben can pull Liberia back from the break. Okay. So it had his own story he wrote again. That the man own story he wrote there. So he put his own story in a link. That his website here. That his institution here. The American Enterprise Institute. And you see it? He wrote it. And then he put the president picture there. So all the men on the you don't get no serial link there. You don't get anything to show you. So we move ahead. He said, I won't go to the place where he's making orders. He said, we are ignored the warning when the U.S. Treasury Department lost patience and sanctioned senior Liberian official under the Global Magnitsky Monrovia Global Magnitsky Act. Jefferson Koji and close, we are ally, and we rejected any reform. While the United States is consistent and by far the largest donor to Liberia, whereas government sided with the Chinese Communist Party as U.S. House Speaker, blah, 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 blah. So where is the, let me go to A again, because everything they may say, I won't check behind A. Everything you say. So everything here, all the men unotina. He either look at when your newspaper you report something, he take it back to Weir's arrival. After finally cleaning customs at Kennedy Airport, Weir found himself without any security escort. Hey man, Manhattan. He then discovered that the State Department issued him that the story. The thing is that the president they only get a C2 visa. So the man left from where he went for the program, and went way to his house. That C2 visa can do that one. This is an extraordinary signal of displeasure and lack of confidence in Weir's regime and his efforts to subvert democracy. In effect, the State Department is putting Liberia in the same category as Iran and Cuba. It is to the credit of Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. Let me show you And they seem, oh, my man, they got a 419 mail. No story they mail mayor and gave you the facts or actual link to anything. Everything he wrote and everything. So this, I'm gonna read you more articles. This is one of his many articles he wrote, right? Let me go to this. This is one of his many articles he wrote. This man has written too many articles, negative articles about the government of Liberia, saying that, the government has done this, the government has done that. And he even went to the extent and wrote an article about the mayor. But let me leave that. Let me tell you now about the man's doings. Let me tell you about the man's doings. Let me tell you about the man's doings. When I say something, I say them with facts. I don't just say them, and then just leave them. No. I say them with facts. So, this Michael Rubin, he's noted for controversies with a self-interest for a particular person. This man has gone to the extent he condemned and criticized the Human Rights Watch, the Amnesty International, and the American Friends Service Committee. And he said it was a political bias and conflict of interest. And then he made reference where he questioned whether the policymakers could trust Human Rights Watch report, that they should not trust it after the group held a fundraiser in Saudi Arabia. So, in 2014, they intercept in an article about an alleged UAE campaign. Y'all listen, yo. Some of the things they may not do around the world. So doing it in Liberia is not a strange thing. Through the public relations firm called Camstrol. They mentioned the name Rubin as a target to plant story favorable for the UAE government. Listen, the people in 2014, they discovered that this man, Michael Rubin, was doing stories favorable. Now, like I said, all of what he does, they are not authentic things. They are make-up stories. They are stories that he do to favor certain thing or a particular person. So it is not like a journalist that will report the factual story. No. It is like an institution that writes about people, the negative parts of it, and they praise another person. The end beneficial of that thing is the person that actually pay him. For example, if the government wants him to say some good things about them, they pay him, then he comes back and say bad things about Cummins. So all what he has been able to write about the government, they are not truth. There's no link in one of his articles to authenticate what he has said, if it has truth. Some of the links he plays there, the stories are not on the websites of the institutions that he borrowed these things from. Even though when you are doing these kinds of stories, you get credit to the institutions. You don't write it as if to say it is you that have investigated and you have the facts with you and you're saying them. So this man in 2014, he was being targeted for doing stories favorable to the UAE government. Now, according to the Human Rights Watch analysis, Rubin traveled to the UAE to meet senior government ministers in 2014. That the main operation there. In 2014. Now, in 2016, Rubin wrote an article on the case of the emirate economy, where he mentioned one of the 5, which is Nasir bin Gat. He criticizing human rights, was calling for Bin's release, because by that time the man was in prison for whatsoever reason, best known to the people and the investigator and everything. And he was, he was in Abu Dhabi August 2015 for the online comments criticizing and whatsoever. They see Michael Rubin man was involved into that. Then they make him do small thing that PBT they make him do. The Turkey coup attempt, they coup attempt and the bounty. Do you know what Rubin do? In June 2017, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan filed a criminal complaint against Rubin in Turkish courts. Listen, they filed a criminal complaint in Turkish courts. Now you see, when you do investigation and you do research, and your research is truth, you see this story here, and you're seeing it, fellow Liberians. For those of you watching, here you go. I hope I want the people to see the thing. Oh, I want you to see. Okay. Now you see this story, you will see. You will see there. You will see blue. Oh man, I hope my producers could be here. I want to show you people. Michael Rubin Uno page he has that he posts out of his stories. When he writes an article and he makes a reference, and you click on that reference area, it sends you to a website either non-functional or nothing they're referring to that reference is making to back the story. But on this, when you click here, right? When you click here, you will see the story. They say President Erdogan files criminal complaint against ex-Pentagon official Michael Rubin. Now you open it. It's opening, folks. Now you see how it looks like? It opens and it takes you directly to Daily News. Now when you go to Daily News, and Daily News reported this story the 2nd of June 2017. You see it? You see how serious stories can be? And you see how authentic stories can be? And you see Michael picture there? And you seeing it? Listen. And this is how original stories, factual stories, things that you report, it gives you the link to get the actual facts of what is being reported. So if anyone read this story or read this page or went and did an investigation, it sends you to the actual story of the entire complaint that was filed against Michael Rubin that is being paid by Alexander Cummings to read all the bad stories about George Weah-led administration and officials of the George Weah government. You see it? Listen, let me read the story. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan on June 2 filed legal papers against a former Pentagon official, Michael Rubin, over perceived insults. The 9-page complaint, which was lodged with the Ankara Chief Prosecutor's Office by the president lawyer, accused Rubin, an American Enterprise Institute analyst, of insulting the president. Rubin's accusations and insulting tweets are not only a reflection of his hate and anger towards the president, but also against the Turkish Republic. And the complaint said, according to Anadolu agency, Rubin is accused of supporting and committing offenses for they got an institution called FITO. FITO is Federalist terror organization, which is blamed for the July 2016 failed coup attempt. So you see, people that when they want to overthrow a government, it is the group in which Michael Rubin is a member of, and he went ahead and started to target a certain president. The similar thing he's doing for Cummins. Here is the story. This Michael Rubin man, here is the story. Here you go. Here you go. In his columns and tweets, Rubin accused the Turkish president of using the coup attempt to purge society of political and ideological opponents. Support for Erdogan is in no way support for Islam and Turkish dignity. That the main thing they're doing now, backing the president will be support for corruption and the collapse of Turkey. He wrote in a tweet in Turkish. This is the Michael Rubin man I'm talking about. So, they see men narrating all that kind of stories there about the president. This man was being what? Sued for the similar unorthodox and the way he continues to give false information about governments and government officials around the world. He doesn't say any bad thing about if you now government man, you know what? The man he targets governments. You know what did the man do? Here you go. The man went ahead. Let me go to the story again. The man went ahead, and I just told you about Turkey. Let me go to another story. The Ethiopia, the people got problem with him. Let me go to this story. Russia and Ukraine. Here you go. They Russia and Ukraine water also. You know what I mean there? On November 11, 2022, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation added Rubin to its sanctions list because of his writing on behalf of Ukraine and in opposition to Russian foreign policy. Oh, yes. They see Michael Rubin man that is writing all the things about the Georgia government, saying that all they're doing bad. They only, let me say sorry, you know, on Syria website, you go to Syria website, anything the people say, you can see it. So, this, we have the list of the sanctioned people, including Michael Rubin, but it is in Russian language. And you see it? I will try to get it up, and then I will also share with you guys on the show, please. But let me show you the red out here where you will see the okay. Yeah, you see. Folks, those of you watching, I just want you to see. You see Russian and Ukraine. They say on November 11, 2022, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russia Federation added Rubin to the sanction list. You see here, folks? We can say things we will not get facts. Anything we say, we'll get facts about it. But this is the Michael Rubin that is writing story and say Georgia was stuck at the airport. He was denied. There was no security for him. But he cannot prove it on his website. The area he's using as reference, it is not even on a page. Fellow Liberians, let me tell you the last one here before I go to the lines. I don't know, Mr. Cummins, do you know that even toiletries at ANC headquarters, that Cummins got to pay for it? Let me tell you, Mr. Cummins, tonight, all the people that are around you, they just around you for your money. They not even let you to be president. That just because you get money. If you not get money, you think you're a serious politician. No serious politician will be like you. One thing you need to know is, look at the thing that came out a few days. Can you imagine, Mr. Cummings, you standing there and see, Cummings standing there, the people then singing song. Okay, let me show you to the people that watch. Is here? The man standing there, and see. There Cummings there. In front of Cummings, the people singing CDC, Muya, Muya. Then he's standing there. It shows to you that you're not the tap the people need now. You standing there. You standing there, the people that your own program you organize. You went for your program. Then you standing there and the people talking, Muya, Muya, CDC, Muya. Then you standing there. You can't stay laying that either something that is not right, or you don't have loyal people. That's the problem, Cummings. You don't have loyal people. You don't have loyal people. You know, like some of these politicians there, where their people are very loyal to them. You don't have loyal partisans. All the people that are behind you, that's just because you get money. And you know what I mean? You're not even using it rightly. You standing right there. You standing right there. The people that talking say, Muya, CDC, Muya. But the only thing, and let me say this, Mr. Cummings, paying people like Michael Rubin, paying other people to come and do what they continue to do in Liberia, to write all the bad stories about the government, it will not help you. You know why? If today's election, you will be flocked. Because you don't have the number. Right? You don't have the number. You are not loved by the people. It's not, I'm not saying you cannot be, but maybe you've not understand why I said the people are not really in for you. You paying people 200,000-300,000 to be writing stories. Michael Rubin is just eating free money from you and writing all kinds of lies. Imagine only one article the man wrote. The one of the many articles. I went through one of the many articles. I showed more than 3 or 5 mistakes or lies. Not mistake, but lies in it. You say the mail to this place and everything. Where's the link? You send it that you can see it. You say the other one happened, will go there. That different thing they're talking about batting. The only thing that is there, which is something that is that is in the public, it has been in the public, it is about the visitation of the U.S. delegation to have attended the bicentennial program. So, Mr. Cummings, you're wasting your money. Michael Rubin, that has no good character to a certain international extent, this is a man that has been sued. This is a man that has been sued by the Turkish president. This is a man that they've sanctioned him. Russia has sanctioned, even though Russia, they are in war, everything. But this is a man that has been sanctioned because of meddling into the people personal things. And this is what he does. So you woke up today, you come and say all the things about the government. Where in this war, fellow Liberians, let us put politics aside. If even Cummings is a president today, will you go for a UN General Assembly for God's sake, and you say they treat you like an ordinary person? You even tell that one to the old man in Bokonjile. She will tell you, say, my son, you lie. Because it doesn't work that way. Right? It doesn't work that way. A certain person, you cannot, There's nothing you can do about it. He enjoys all the entitlement whatsoever of the presidency until he leaves the presidency. And if the Liberian people deem it necessary, they give me another 6 years, he becomes the president of the next 6 years. The communists now will be on the bench. They will wait. Communists now will win. Somebody tell me, say, but what communists can try and win some kind of senatorial thing? You be in the play that you be making small noise. But you're not in it. You don't even know how the thing works and everything. But anyway, let's go to the line. But this is very serious. The only way that people would think they'll win election in this country to use their own country name and say the worst things about them. Look at the thing he went and said before the people. But it is the same country that he has said all the worst things about. It is the same country he wants to lead. And you get Michael Rubin, one of the many articles. Now, tomorrow I won't be on the show. But on Monday, I will come back and I will tell you that Mr. Cummings wants to do everything to become president. To the extent it is alleged that he sent people to poison Benin Ayuri. I will play Benin Ayuri voice on Monday. And you will listen to Benin Ayuri say he was poisoned and they were boys from ANC. And he said, now they ANC, that Cummings boys there and everything. So why he say the presidency here that Cummings want to do anything? Somebody was telling me, say, but you're not telling us that Cummings, the secret killing, all the things. Cummings can be part. Because if you can go, you fight half and then to sanction people. You can go, you pay people for them to be ready, all kinds of story. You can go, you do the other one, you do everything. They want presidency. 0770. Look at the other stories the man writing. There's no way possible that a certain president. And imagine you going for the UN General Assembly. You know what you're talking? The UN General Assembly? They think that the people organize war leaders will go and you go say, oh, they go pray President John, we have to go sit down. Where? Sometimes you're going to be doing the thing now until you can spot it. Because it is not possible. It is not possible. Listen, okay, let's agree that President Weah was not given the actual whatsoever, right? How does that in any way benefit the opposition? How does that in any way benefit Mr. Cummings? What it has add on Mr. Cummings' vote? Can that in any way help Mr. Cummings to become the next president because the man was not given the presidential treatment? So that one article, the man has written more than 4, 5, 6, 7, 20 different articles. I've just been able to go into one of the many articles he wrote. And that one article, I made correction more than 3, 4 different times. And the links that he used in those articles to give reference to his story he wrote, they are all fake. You go on the pages, they cannot be found. 0770907907. You will continue, Mr. Cummings, you will continue to spend money, and at the end of the day, you stand to benefit nothing. In front of you, you standing there, and the people telling you, CDC Munya. If I could be that person that's standing there, catch me. I'll tell the people, say, you know what? I have another meeting. We'll come back and then we'll discuss. In fact, but the papi want thing, so anything can happen. My man Dolake, my man will get a WhatsApp line, you might call, all that thing you're doing. 0770907907, 0770907907, 0880907907. The WhatsApp line is the same as +231 770-907-907 is the WhatsApp line for those of you out of Liberia. Now we're going to take calls now. Let me take this person. Let's speak to the issues. Hello.
Seku.
Good evening.
How you doing, my good friend?
Yes, I'm doing great. Hope you are.
Of course. And just that you get me laughing this evening.
Yeah.
This is Emmanuel Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm phoning from District 6. Seku, election is getting closer. And I see the government will do everything in their power to use all propaganda machines thinking that they can
So,
destroy
so
people.
Emmanuel.
I'm not learning, Chief.
No, it's not about you lending, but as you start to move there, I want to ask you something.
But
What it is,
you say you want to ask me a question, Chief?
what it is, Emmanuel, into all that I've explained concerning articles and everything, you think nothing in it that is true.
The first thing that got me laughing when I heard you mentioning the name of one of Europe dictator in Richard Time Erdogan of Turkey. This man who is noted for killing his own citizen, and you want to make reference to that kind of man, and then you want people who are knowledgeable to sit and listen to your platform and just be carried away by that kind of exception.
So you're not supposed to listen, though. Hello?
Yeah, good evening to you, Sekou Sherry. Good evening to my fellow Liberians of the Republic of Liberia.
Good evening, let's hear you.
Okay, by the way, in introduction, I'm Alfonso A.F. Kamara calling from district number 10 to be precise, my resident transformer community. Let me simply proceed to the issue of the topic discussion this evening. Look, Liberian people, we know what we want exactly so. I don't care how you're malad, this Mr. Kumis. I don't care what we talk about Mr. Kumis. Mr. Kumis is our next president. We are waiting October 10, 2023. If Mr. Kumis don't go out there and work for money, where is let me learn, please.
No, I'm asking you. I mean, now because you come in, so when you come in, I can ask you.
We listen to you and we elaborate.
Mama, I'm the host of this show. I'm the host. When you're talking, I need to ask you. What you think I can ask you? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, Sekou, good evening.
Go ahead.
I'm Rexville A. Morgan. You know, just what you said about some guys around Cummings fooling, eating a little money.
Hey, lead them. Let it be fooling the man.
Cummings is not a material for this country. I've never seen a man who greedy for the seat. Hey, man, you fight to be senator. And when Cummings came in Broadville, on the fee, let some of the people call and say I'm lying. Those who are attempted to receive Cummings, they were not even 150. I was looking for Cummings because he's so short. I was looking for him. That one guy showed me Cummings. I was just standing looking at him. And nothing good he had to tell the Brazilian. Then he go me and lie. You think Oppo took all this country by lying? No. The people elected Oppo. The president of this country was elected. And let me tell you, say, get ready to this man. Because I know they will run all around. They will end up on their fight. So the president will drop that dead and say they will not believe it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me take this person here. You're going to be saying I'm coming. The money that coming supposed to spend, you're spending on people.
For the second time, I don't know, you off me off.
My man, you're telling me to wait for you. The problem here, I'm running the show. I tell you what you need to do. I gave you the chance. You don't tell me what to do.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, how are you, Brother Sekou?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Jefferson Pelly calling from Trefan, Simple Community. Yeah, thank you very much for your analysis tonight. But I want to tell you, because there are a lot of information sometimes you people give, if the information is not too clear about the person and those that are listening to you, when they get small portion of that information.
So you are not listening?
No, I'm coming. I'm coming. Let me learn. All right. So what you do for us, you make sure the information according to you said that Kumi gave a lot of information. Take one, you explain everything to the public, then we will get the concept. But where you going now by telling the Liberian people that maybe the secret killing that going on, commission is inside.
Listen,
me,
hello,
I'm not a supporter of
hello,
COVID,
hello, sir.
But we should not reach that far.
Hello, you know the reason why I said such? Thank you.
No.
So sometimes when you're doing a discussion, you know the reason why I said such?
No, tell me.
Because it is not the first time Mr. Cummings has paid people just to get the bad image of the very government and the country in which he wants to lead. Number two, I'm talking about Michael Rubin. Michael Rubin that is noted for telling lies about governments around the world. You understand me?
I'm getting you.
Mr. Cummings is paying this man to write all the bad stories about this government. I'm going to play you the voice of Ure on Monday where he said he was questioned by the folks from ANC. Who will go send partisan from ANC to question Ure? If Ure is president, okay, for example, right, Ure is president that for what? And not because he too, he won't be vice president, or maybe he won't head the CPP ticket at the time, and Cummings wants to do the same thing too, right?
Yeah.
So when all the fights or all the indications, you can't think say they make it what?
Yeah, but
Okay, thank you very much, my brother, for understanding. Thank you. Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Go ahead.
This is Mama Gitawa, one of the people defending our conducting this food into executive.
Let's hear
Thank you so
you.
much for the topic. I was able to share Zana Bekumi is one of the politicians that you have to learn license. If that man was really political now, you know, you are going to be in the interest of like brown people. People that get money, they will only go about to spend it on the Google institution that can't even get 1% of the vote in Liberia. Can you imagine? Like I say, the attire suffering campaign, you know, after the Kerala campaign, Louis Brown turned to protocol goes in the time, yes. We can't even know nowhere about Louis Brown today. So Kumi will just be like that 2023 after the election. Kumi will turn to protocol goes in the time, yes. People will look for a name. So I want for you to look for all the hell to be criticizing President Weah. They cannot opportunity that President Weah are giving to the Liberian people in government and they cannot development in the city here. Could we not see this? You get 100 million, you go and spend it in America.
Yeah, for people to be writing bad stories.
Yeah, like American people.
The very country you want to lead, you making people to say bad things about the country.
Yeah. But Sherry, every morning, Alexander B. Kumi, who does development in the interest of the country to see buy and Liberia. So, 2023 will get supply package to go to him, will be politically unpopular in the country after 2020 elections. Alexander B. Kumi will tell
He will tell to what? Hello? Hello? Okay, let me take this person. Good evening.
Yeah, Sekou, I was on the line and I went off.
Who is Smith?
Yeah. I was
Smith,
on the line.
yeah, maybe another person or everything. So let's conclude quick, please.
Yeah, let me conclude. Thank you, brother. Yeah, like I was saying, Sekou, when I listened to you just got me laughing this evening. You know, when I heard you mentioning the name Richard Tayyip Erdogan of Turkey, a well-known dictator who killed his own people because of power.
Do you have facts to authenticate? What's the link? How do we get it?
I should give you the link.
What the facts surrounding such?
Just Google Turkey and Google the president named Richard Tayyip Erdogan in 2014. What happened in Turkey? You know.
So you think Michael Rubin was right to be part of? Listen, hello. Let me ask you. You think he was right to form part of the group that went and carried out the failed coup attempt on the government then?
It's been a lie.
Oh, so the man who the president, the man who the thing that you in that election, eh?
So like I was saying,
yeah, that's why I say no, not talking slow so people yeah. You say the other man.
I'm listening to you. Talk loud,
No, I say not talking slow so because I don't want that other one people want laugh at you. Listen, I want people want laugh at you. Listen.
Yeah, listening.
The Michael Rubin that one I elect, but the president part that Barman gave people in it.
Yeah, the reports are all there. There was investigation from independent organization.
So there's no report.
And those reports are coming out. Those reports came up that Richard Tayyip Erdogan was involved in.
Where can we get such a report? There's no report. Listen, I just read you a document where this man was being taken to court. He was being complained to court for his action. And also I told you about the sanction from the Russian government. And I'll give you more other countries where he did similar thing. You want to give me links? You want to be specific about which one of the reports? So I will sit here now and tell you if it is true or not. Smith? Oh, I hope Smith money nothing. Smith? Oh man, Smith, please call back. I hope your money nothing. Hello? Good evening.
Hello?
Yeah, good evening, sir. We need to be condemning these things. You want to be president for Liberia, then you pay people also to be doing bad story about your own country you won't govern. Hello, go ahead.
Yeah, you see the thing about Kumi just suffering himself, going up and down. All the money he get, he will spend at the end of the day, he will get 2% or 5% of the vote. You see, Kumi, you know, in election, there are two people can go for election. They get participant and they get contestant. Kumi, that participant, he will participate in the election. At the end of the day, he get 2% or 0%. You see, 2023 election, this year election, the 7% Kumi got in 2017, this year he will not get 7%. He will get 4 or 5%. So he just suffering himself for nothing. He's not going nowhere. Let him go back in South Africa and say that and make the Coca-Cola fat, you know, it be making sugar, water.
Thank you very much. Let me take this person. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, good evening. Go ahead. Oh, okay, let me take another person on the line. Hello. Hello. All right, too bad. What's happening on the line? Hello.
Yeah, this is Smith. I'm back on the line.
Smith, Smith, you just log it to be coming back?
Oh, yeah, my man. We get someone that we can penetrate the line.
No, Smith, let's do a quick answer that other people.
Yeah. So, like I was saying.
So, I asked you a simple question, but you didn't answer.
Say that.
I asked you a simple question. I said,
what was the question?
The president who is not alleged, but Michael Robin, which document I've read from on this radio, you don't want it to be, you want it to be alleged, right?
Like I was saying, and Sekou, the president of Turkey, they own an investigation by independent.
Can you give us a link where we can just look at?
Hey, my man, I already told you what to do.
No,
the independent investigators, they investigated that whole issue.
Which institution? What's the name of the institution?
Oh, no, I can't remember the names, but they were independent investigators that investigated that whole issue, and they came up to the conclusion that he was involved into killing, you know. And
so it's right. You think it's right? That's what I'm asking you. You think it's right now, right? Or writer or whosoever, they should have been part of a group that planned to carry out a coup attack on the sitting government?
Like I said, it was alleged today. The Turkish government cannot produce.
My man, we can't agree to that. Smith, when you come to show, let's agree to disagree. Be honest. I ask you the truth, you know, then you say, now because the opposition, man. Hello?
Yeah, Papa. In Solomon, I'm letting it be doing to us. They want me every time when you call soldiers and they want to continue your story.
He let it be waiting.
He can't answer you.
You mind?
You want to go every time you ask people, you never answer when you're talking your own setting.
Yeah, you mind?
People are wicked people in their country. How you be talking about your own country? When they want to talk good, when you come to come and say, you're at you. They're going to answer for lying.
Mama, I will play you the voice of you. I will play the voice.
The other people, they love their country. They don't talk about their country.
Yo.
They don't talk about their country, but you say that the same country, you want to come rule us here. You want to be president for the same country here. You want to do everything. Everything is different. For the Liberia people, for all day, the Liberia people. Then you say to other people, then when you come to come rule now? Will you come to do something for you now?
Maybe that they choose me.
They saw that squat on that escape, on that ACS. From after they put that confused, they have nothing to do. They're just looking for all kinds of things to do. All kinds of without preparation. And I think you say about Kumi is getting involved into the kind of thing. Impossible it can be. I'm not even denying that. Because somebody so greedy for power, they can do anything.
I say, Mama, money.
They want to build a government. They want to say what? Yes, they want to do that.
Mama,
money.
I will play.
We can be
Money, I will play. Money, I will play your voice. You were talking, say that the people for ANC pressing him.
But they may lie. They may lie. Everybody was good for that man is he's so good for everything. He's so desperate, and that's what he can do anything. He can do anything, but you're wasting your time.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me take another person. Good evening.
Sekou, how are you?
Good evening, sir.
How are you, Sekou? How are you?
Good evening. Go ahead.
I'm Aiba Esther calling for Brush, Sekou.
Go ahead, sir.
Sekou, I want to tell you something today. I know you are Muslim. The Allah that will serve him, today, Allah that put on earth. You think that everybody serving him? You think everybody like him? You think everybody believe in Allah?
Certainly not everyone, my brother.
Okay, thank you. Everybody will not say that. I will not believe. Everybody not believe in Allah. So, we say that Allah not exists. What I want to tell you today, President Way is our president. But everybody will not let him. Take it or not. For me, I give it a government. I don't like a government. I'm a partisan. But if you open the land, let us get our view. The first color, you can put you call it up. If you call it up,
I don't cut off. Hey, man, listen now, brother. I didn't cut anyone off. You heard a man say, hey, money finish.
No, the first one will not finish because you were on the line. You were still committing that they could go up.
Okay, go to the point now. Go to the point.
Okay, let me go to the point now. So, Honorable Sekou is this. But we are government now. The drug issue that going high level now.
We're talking about Sonny here. Sorry, I beg you, my brother. I'm talking about Michael Rubin thing here. We're coming in. Hey, talking about Joe Issuse Benin. Hello? Eh?
Yeah, in the first place.
Eh? Okay, let me take this one. Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, I'm Richard A. Morgan calling from Brownsville City. You know, Sekou, don't waste your time on the President we are is his second sitting president again for the remaining 6 years. I care what the people look at doing the petition. You think these so-called politicians are passing a royal line going all rapping American men to laugh?
Yeah, our own country.
They didn't see. They see people that you want to be heading over there as a president. Then you passing around creating problem for yourself. Then you creating problem for all. You're not creating problem for all. We know comments good.
You be paying people all around to be doing baba stories about the very government.
Line. And one thing I respect President we are. That man is a leader. I don't care how you talk. You do your talking. He can't talk. He focus on development. Then I bring arm. The government found the arm. They stay doing all kinds of things. And God stay with him, man. Why only they told me something? They only they say anybody that against President we are. When you mean it from your heart, they say that disgrace will come upon you. And all the politicians that have something bad against President we are, they will fall one by one. And God will show them all. Say, don't have your head. God be yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Another person here. The calls are too many. Let me take this. I want to go to the international.
Yeah, good evening, Sekou Sharif.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, I want to express my grievances. We're not doing justice tonight on the topic.
But we're not running a courthouse yet. We're not running courthouse.
Yeah, I had 2 issues to address.
Okay, listen now. I want issue. Hello. Hello.
Yeah,
get it first. We ain't running a courthouse to do justice business, yeah?
Do that?
We're not running a courthouse here to say either justice should be very or not.
Well, yeah, well, you had a topic on the discussion. I want to give my impact. How to deal with Marco.
No, you're not giving impact, but you're giving your input. Go ahead. We're listening to you.
Let me make my input. All right. He didn't mention that Mr. Cummings take people around to castigate the government and read all kinds of stories pertaining to the government, this and that. You're going around robbing for sanction for government official. I don't think an individual had a propensity to go out there and lobby for sanction against government.
Okay, thank you. Let me hello.
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Oh, sorry, folks. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead. I'm hearing you.
Sekou, how you doing?
I'm okay. What's your name, sir? You joining us from out of Liberia? Where you joining us from? Oh, I mean, you live? Oh,
hello.
Yes, you live. Go ahead. I'm hearing you.
Oh yeah. My name is Jean Papi. I'm calling from. Yeah. I'm calling from United States or America, and I want to make some. I want to make my comment. You see, Mr. Azana comment, he's too ambitious for power, and I think he needs to do something with his money. Instead of spending money on a fully agent to tarnish the country reputation, that's not a good thing. If you say you love the country and you got money, why you can't invest? Why you can't bring a factory to help the needle Liberian to work? Huh? You say you wasting money on Louis Bryan, on lobbyists and all of that.
Michael Rubin.
That would not give you the presidency. The presidency is to have a relationship with the people. And Cummings does not have a relationship with the Liberian people. He just forcing himself, and he will never be president for that country.
Okay.
So he's just wasting your time. If I were coming now, although all the guys that near Kumi, they need to advise him. That Kumi save their money, invest in the Liberian economy, so that way you can able to get people that will love you. That's how you build a relationship with the people. But other than that, trust me, Kumi will not go anywhere.
Okay.
I thank you, Sekou.
Thank you
you
very
for
much.
the platform.
Thank you very much. Y'all better be telling Cummings the truth. Y'all tell the man, say, my man, you gotta understand cool. Hello? But I know that was somebody tell me, say, y'all can just won't be eating the man money because the man.
Hello, is it Councillor Sherry?
I waiting, Councillor.
Manya, everything you share, I said you dish or everything bit by bit, but I don't know what kind of school they go went to.
The people had to learn.
I say everything you spell out for that people in article and whatsoever. Everything is accurately correct, but I don't know what kind of school they went to. I just said, "Jojo, we went to go America." The day you be saying I would do what people do. You know the protocol.
You man, eh?
You know the protocol. Let's you know, we got to see, but for that be friend, that's the big fight-sided. Because in politics, who the party or individual that the populace needs, what they can give them. So that is a good part of the law. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you very much. Hello. Yeah.
How are you?
Mm-hmm.
You getting me?
Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Shaq Biggett, and I joined from the president this evening. Seko, in as much as I'm not a supporter of Mr. Kumi, but this evening, I would like to disagree with you totally. First of all, you made a claim by saying that Mr. Kumi is the one who paid Michael Rubin. Do you have any evidence to prove that Mr. Kumi paid the guy money?
Yes.
I'm a strong supporter of the party, but I'm asking you, do you have any evidence?
You ask me, I say yes.
Okay, I want you to show the evidence. And the second thing is,
you can show evidence on the radio. You can read the evidence so that the people can hear it. On the television, you can show the evidence so that the people can watch it. You're coming in too bad, brother. I need to let you go. You need to do adjustment, please. Yeah? You're coming in very bad. Hope you can do adjustment and call us back on 0770 907 907 0770 907 907 0880 907 907. And the WhatsApp line is +231 770 907 907 is the WhatsApp line. You can call us. We'll take you. Hello?
Yeah, Sekou, I'm on the line. Am I okay?
Yeah, go ahead. You much better.
All right. The second thing is,
you asked me about the proof.
Okay, you said Mr. Kumi is involved into the killings of people in Liberia here. Do you have any evidence to that too?
You think a yes or no thing will come and do here? Address, say what you want to say, you leave the line, my man. You think one yes or no thing? I can't be telling you yes, I can't be telling you no.
You know the reason I'm asking you? Because yesterday you were the one defending Koji. When the Liberia said Koji and Terry was the one that killed Madam Scott's daughter. You were stronger defending Koji, and you over there now.
So my Unity Party friend, you understood the English I spoke?
Hello?
Eh?
You coming too low. I get you now.
You understood the English I spoke, my Unity Party friend?
Loud and clear.
Okay, so quote me exactly of what I mentioned.
I should quote you, right?
I'm giving you the time, brother.
I'm not going to quote you because you're not showing any proof or any tangible proof of what I said. We just talking mess up.
Okay, so let me keep beyond the line. Let me tell you what I said, yeah? I said, from the look of things, it is not Mr. Cummings' first time paying people to put sanction on government officials, paying people to write all kinds of stories about the very government or the country he wants to govern, and also from the revelation from Mr. Bernard Ure, which I will play on Monday, where he said he was being poisoned by the folks from ANC. It is a clear indication that he must have done even more because he wants to be president, so he supports almost everything in the country. Once it is against the country. You get that well? Thank you very much for understanding, my brother. You have a very good listening ability. Let me take this person, the international call here. Hello? Hello? Or the international call. Good evening. You on, but you're not talking though. This person. Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, you are live. I keep saying hello.
Oh,
hello.
thanks, Sego, because you are too low. That's why I call from Belgium. I'm Albert.
Okay, but from here we're getting you very clear though. Maybe it's from your
Yeah,
end.
thanks a lot. I've been listening to you. The thing here is that Sekou, you made your analysis very clear, but I think sometimes respectfully, I would like to say that sometimes you are biased in your analysis. When you speak in favor of certain people, when allegations are leveled against them, you ask the individuals to provide proof. And the previous caller just asked you also to provide proof. And you say the man should just talk his own and leave the line. So
No, the
at
man
least you have
asked-
to come
hello?
a little bit balanced,
And
Sekou.
the man
I know that
asked-
you are very brilliant
Hello, sir?
journalist. You are one of the journalists that
Sir?
I really admire in Liberia.
Sir?
But at the end of the day, sometimes we have to bring balance to the conversation.
Let me say something. The man asked me, "Do you have proof?" I did not say he should just speak. I say yes.
I'm not getting you, Sekou. The line is not too clear. So thanks for affording me the opportunity to participate on your show.
Are you getting me now?
Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah, you're coming in thing, but I think I'm getting you a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but from here you're very clear, live on the radio and the television, and it's very clear. What I said to him when he asked, I did not say I'm speaking without proof. I said I have a proof.
Okay.
And like I said on
Okay,
Monday, on Monday, if you listen to the show, on Monday you will listen to the voice of Benina Ure. Benina Ure is not one of the ordinary persons in Liberia. You will listen to Benina Ure own confession about what the people from ANC did to him, allegedly. And I will play it here, you will listen to it.
Okay. And also when it comes to the Cummins issue, Sekou, I think Cummins have not yet understand the dynamics of Liberia politics. The political landscape in Liberia is not just all about the money. You have to learn to speak the vocabulary. You have to learn to speak the vocabulary that the people understand. Like George Weah, why is it he's admired by the people is that he speaks the language that the people understand, and the people go wild for the kind of things that he says. So Cummins really need to try to understand what Liberia politics is actually like, because these people around Cummins, they are not really telling Cummins the facts.
So
and Cummins, with all reasonable doubts, I don't see. It's not that he cannot make a good president. Yes, he can make a very good president, but at the end of the day, you have to be likable to the electorates. And he's not really likable to the electors, because if you look at the entire election that is coming, there is just two candidates named that are standing tall. It's the president and Joseph Numa Boaka. So at the end of the day, he would have set the stage for himself to go as a vice running mate to somebody who was much more popular than him. Even if they are beaten in the next election, he stands a chance, because the person is going to, if he goes on to vice Joseph Numa Boaka, his popularity is going to be very high for the next election, even if they lose the election. But this thing they call power greed and the amount of people that are ill-advising you, you will never understand other people who are bringing a better message to you, because you are so much centered in your head that you want to become president and you don't listen to people. And that's the very fact. We are going to see it in the October election.
And
Cummins is not going to come close to Joseph Boaka and George Weah.
Why must he use
all the
resources?
He has to understand that fact.
Why must he use all your resources for all the kinds of things? Why can't you use it? Listen, there's a video on social media.
That's the problem.
There's a
That's
video.
the problem.
There's a
And you bringing people like Louis Brown close to you. Do you know the kind of a nightmare the nightmare that some of us who maybe was admiring you, they bringing people like Louis Brown close to you? Do you have drifting some of the way because the years we were on Taylor when Louis Browns and people brought ATU on that campus to constrict some of us to take us to Lofa, those nightmares are still there. So when you bring people like Louis Brown close to you, we think about those days that these kind of people that are going to advise you, they are really going to ill-advise you.
Sure.
You understand? So, I mean, he say he come with clean hands, but he bringing muddy hands in the dead in the clean water.
My brother.
So at the end of the day, the hands are going to get muddy.
The thing here is, if you read about Michael Rubin is a very good writer. And from what I've researched about him, all of his articles he has been able to do, it is not facts-based articles.
Thanks a lot, Sekou.
Thank you. It is not facts-based article. They are all articles based on either maybe, you have a deal with him and all of that. Let me go to more calls. Hello? Hello?
Yeah,
good evening. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jeff,
yeah, Jeff, go ahead. Let's hear you. Do it quick. We have more persons on the line.
Yeah, so thank you. Me say we know so la better hard on there. No is a kumi just a me na going to put them in the news but la me put enjoy. It don't go for the people that are still talk about it about la blue. As I said, you want to be prepared for the country. It's all about it. The sense that one another kumi pay people to post on la blue. One know about it. One may for a party. They see a call for radio, station. So they pay people to America and they are or coming on to listen to it. To them, why may they left with the party? Because they can eat money for Kumi, so and top of Kumi being want to order about it. Look at what happened to this good now. One more important is a jar,
yeah,
because you say one because of people to fuck with. Kumi never the job. So that's what we say. Thank you, sir. God bless you.
Okay, thank you. Let me take this person. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sekou, my name is Junior F. Gavlo, and I do join you for talking in this thing my show tonight. I'd like to appreciate you for the effort and the time given to all the student national issues. Specifically, I was really speaking about Alexander Kumi. I'm a member of the Unity Party, right? So the over ambition of Alexander Kumi, I think, is becoming unbecoming. We, over the period of time, with the partnership of the Unity Party, this is one of the reasons, as a member of the Unity Party or as a member of the party, he left the collaborating political party because of Mr. Alexander B. Kumi. Alexander Kumi have come in this country with all of the ambition of him becoming president. You cannot do that in this country. The political landscape of this country, Honorable Alexander Kumi have not yet understood it. You see, Honorable Joseph Yuma Borsai, today he have the popularity and and George Marawi has the popularity, and it's because they understand the dynamic and the political landscape of this country. Mr. Alexander B. Kumi, all he then say is he cannot go as far running mate to anybody. He cannot go as senator, legal representative. That's not a way to start the democracy or to start a leadership. Whenever you are starting something, you have to hold someone in before coming up. Mr. Kumi, I'm not a partisan of you, but I'm just giving a piece of advice.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me go to the international line. Good evening.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Jonathan Dolaka calling from California.
Jonathan Dolaka from ANC. Hey, go ahead, you live.
Hello?
Dolaka, go ahead, you live. Go ahead, my brother. From the ANC, go ahead.
Yeah, my brother.
I don't want people to know you.
Sekou, thanks for the opportunity given me on your platform. Good evening to fellow Liberians. I'm calling from California. First, let me say that for someone to reference an article like you mentioned in blue written by Michael Rubin suggests that there was a source that you were trying to reference. if that source, for other managerial reason, like Samuel Tour said, they have technical glitches and the information cannot be seen, it cannot be on the person. It's like those of us who have seen the National Elections Commission data, and up to now, some of those information have been wiped away from the play, and we see error message. Should it suggest to the Liberian public that the National Elections Commission has carried surreptitious action against the interests of Liberians, because the data that should be adequately available for the purpose of information dissemination, which is an act created for public information, is it that it has an extra motive? I would think that because some technical problem. Besides that, there are nearly all of Liberian institutions, they are down with internet facilities, especially when it comes to website. So I'm saying to say,
Jonathan, let me ask you. Jonathan,
that you cannot, cast.
Jonathan.
Hello?
Yeah, Jonathan, let me ask you.
Yeah.
How a reference is made in a story? When you're writing a story or article, a reference.
I'm not getting so I don't.
Okay. Yes, just go ahead. Maybe I think we'll look at the system. Go ahead.
Right. It's not far from the phone. I don't know what I know quite directly.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Jonathan. Go ahead. Just go ahead.
No, I didn't get your question that you were asking. That's why
it will be difficult for you to get it. So just go ahead. I think it is not just you. The other guy.
Thank you. So the last portion that I wanted to mention about is Mr. Cummings, what Michael Rubin wrote with regard to President we are C2 visa. All of us, we don't know for a fact as to whether there was a C2 visa. And we cannot take everything of Michael Rubin in from the face value. But if one was to debate that President Weah went to Queens, went to a house, what does C2 visa say about the distance that one must cover other than within the proximity of the United Nations headquarters? If that distance that you cover to go Queens did not go beyond what the C2 visa, which is an allegation, it means I give much clout for people to think otherwise, speculate, which Michael Rubin will just be one of those who speculate.
Listen, Jonathan, one of the articles that Michael Rubin wrote, which he shot himself in the legs to show his clear picture that he supports Mr. Cummings, this is what he wrote. He said, Liberia has historical ties to the United States. Though Biden's uneven, listen, I want to read what the man wrote on during one of his publications. He said, Liberia has historical ties to the United States, though Biden's uneven approach to corruption and that country's democracy undermine the potential. That might change. Listen, that might change in the 2023. However,
you're very clear now. Very clear. If you can repeat yourself, very clear.
Okay, let me go back to it so that you can hear it. And the reason why I'm giving you all this, because you come from the Alternative National Congress, so it's important to give people like you the opportunity to speak, so as to have a balanced discussion. This is what he wrote in one of his publications or articles. A portion of it, he said, Liberia has historical ties to the United States, though Biden's uneven approach to corruption and that country's democracy undermine the potential. That might change in 2023. However, if former Coca-Cola executive Alexander Cummings Jr. wins the presidential pool, this is the likely outcome if elections are free and fair. You got that? You got that portion of the article?
Yeah,
what that suggests to you? What that suggests to you? If you are a reader and you come across such,
Let me just dive into it quickly. I think there are several. I think is that article, was it the end of the year article?
It is not. It's one of the many articles he wrote saying
that particular one he wrote was it for data at the end of 2022.
It is not. It is the article where he mentioned. He said the missing peace in America's Africa strategy. And let me go to when he wrote. Okay. So this was the article he wrote December 15, 2022.
Okay, thank you. So that was December 2022. Closure to the president's 5th year tenure. In the midst of widespread allegation and counter-allegation of killing, allegations surrounding sanction that no action had been taken though the president had promised her, and then with the result of the senatorial election that were led by the opposition community. So I am of the belief that he was judging that if the election is free, fair, and transparent, credible as well, there is the likelihood that based on all the ups and downs that the ruling party have had over the last 6 years or 5 years, it might lead to an opposition person winning like former Coca-Cola executive.
So do you think, listen, that's a very good thing, and I'm going to keep you on the line so we can have this conversation. So by he being Pacific, was it the right way in terms of his article? It was not being that point of where showing his alignment, because you have the opposition. You and I know, were you to talk about the opposition, you won't be talking about Alexander Cummings winning elections in Liberia. You know definitely to yourself. You know that Alexander Cummings cannot win elections in Liberia when you have Boaka and the likes of other people. Were you to even talk about the opposition? So why didn't he, maybe you think, to have a very balanced and a good article that would give a broader knowledge or mindset to the people that could research to say, it might likely be the opposition, instead of him figuring out Alexander Cummings, what has he done to show him that, okay, there are indications, that he could become the next president?
And for the sake of conversation, I would definitely agree with you if the war likelihood have been added based on historical facts. What are the facts? Liberians were killed in the number of 200 plus thousand, some people say 300,000.
When?
Yet, 1997, they elected a president, you came a man, you came a I will vote for you. All ladies sell their bitter ball in the market to send their children to school. Yet, 2005, they say, you know book, you don't know book, I will vote for you. This is an irony to any civilized society. So I will agree with you for moving to have added that likelihood. So
now you ask, very good. So now you've agreed that even the very article that he's running, trying to praise your political leader, is not even correct.
That's why I say I agree with you for the benefit of the conversation that the war likelihood would have been added because Liberian historical decision making have been really bad for somebody who can sell potato greens to say that education is not important. But let me say quickly to you, we have won 2017 election first round with 38%. He won 14 out of 15 counties, one off. That was the highest zenith of President Weah political achievement ever in his life. So
why will you say so when we're moving towards elections? He has not been tested again. Why will you?
There's a declining motion of the president's popularity.
Where?
Than
how?
He achieved previously.
What's the yardstick you're using?
How number one, President Weah voted in a Weah community twice, 2019. They don't beat him there. The opposition.
So you won't compare senatorial elections with presidential elections? Was it President Weah on the ballot paper?
President Weah historically has lifted people's hands and he has succeeded when he was.
it? No. Let's leave that argument. I won't go into it. Was it President Weah picture on the ballot box?
I agree with you, but you don't want to give me a chance. I will agree with you that President Weah was not on the ballot as a president.
Do you also agree that almost all the people? No, not debate. Now listen. Now, almost all the people that Mr. Cummings supported, both for the House of Representatives or the Liberian Senate, they all did not win elections. Only I don't know what a guy from Grand Cape County. Now he has joined CDC.
No, you're not following closely. Jonathan Boacha also won the same seat.
As what?
Jonathan Segbe, sorry. Jonathan Segbe as senator. He was nominated on the CPP from the ANC on consensus. So I don't want you to realize that.
Okay, brother. Thank you, man. We'll find time. We want to change the whole topic here. We'll find time. Let's go back to this president. We'll find time for you to so we can have a conversation with you. Hello? Yeah, good evening. We're going to take roughly 5 more calls. Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Let's hear you.
I'm Banner Eric, I calling from Upper Caldwell.
Go ahead. Let's hear you, brother.
You know, those people will never understand. I know you may lost you or something.
No, the man from ANC, so I just wanted to get in the late stuff. Go ahead.
You know, the narrative of those guys is very wrong. Wrong perception of that whole group. Kumis can never be a representative. He will never become a representative before become a senator. Power greed. He could push himself on a Joe Boaca to announce himself for next presidential post. So that's complete failure on his part. Joe Boaca get it no more. Let me tell you, this election is a one blow. President Weah, that's the fact. Don't settle around. President Weah has the heart of people. Once we see our development, we'll go with hunger. We will see our development. Those people come to cause trouble in our country. Liberians, you see any program you go, you will always see sedition there. So no need for you to be suffering yourself. You should go in the business. That's where he belongs. When you are in Coca-Cola factory, when he does, when he did for Liberian people. So we are going to shower flying here and there. He was there for the Liberian people. Only every refugee camp. He proves his love. What does Kumi does up to the time? Why he did? That's the evidence. People can let people that will say the sacrifice that we have made. That's why the people continue to love him. And he's there. For now, the brothers will be discussing rule. Let's be honest. But this man focusing on rule because why? The whole abroad is central in Mauritius. Now how it's supposed to be. Mauritius should be spread as anywhere around the country.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me say this. Mr. Cummings, you need to be, at times you want to know if people are loyal to you. You want to know if people really like you. There are some times you just, put yourself in a shoe like you cannot afford. Now, I'm told, imagine even toiletries at ANC area. Cummings should take money from his pocket. So almost everybody that there, he pays them. How do you get loyalty? How do you know that the people are loyal to you? It just shows that, people are just doing it because, yes, you gave them something, so they just need to do it. And I just said, you internet, the very same people can vote for you, say. So you be paying people that Michael Rubin, writing all kinds of articles, people that have been looked badly internationally, just to make articles against the very government or the country in which, you want to lead. It is totally bad. This is a country that you want to lead. So when the people say all the bad things about this country now, the day you become president now, how will you manage now? So these are some of the things that want you in the presidency if you become president of this country anytime soon. But you can, all of the propagandas and all these things it's just sickening. It's just sickening. And we'll read you more of the other articles published by what's his name, Michael Rubin. We will read you and we'll give you the mistakes again that were made in most of the articles he has published concerning this government, saying all the worst things about the government.
Hello, my brother Siku.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening, Siku. This is D. Imanda Omika Kriya, proud son of grandchildren, and fan of Voice of Liberia, calling from District 10. This is Issuse. My brother, you are saying everything. People coming to Fanny, on the other side because they're looking for fuel from commies or maybe they are the one eating commie money. But they are in a laboratory. I said they work on educated Bonua. Coming down one of those guys. That's what educated Bonua, it means that you educated about not get a common sense of this city. They be doing wrong, you call it right. And they look at right, make it wrong. I just even listen to a certain clip in one of the programs on Monday, where to some group of girls.
Yo, the man you read that. The man you read that is singing song.
Yeah,
CDC song, right?
Making
all
fun.
I wanted that. Yeah, man.
Yeah, they have fun. They have fun. Somebody say, CDC money for you, right?
Yeah.
You don't get sense still. They stay sitting to driving a place. You say, won't get see. My people, people, they're gonna say that some people coming defending. They are not guarded from the United States who tell blame people around here that when you tell it your government, then you call him on the side, give him money, then you come out and put your government. I cannot see the other guy from America that when you were to be on the line, just I just listen to him.
No,
I felt disappointed anyway. No, I know you never want to see maybe you never want to see this. The thing that you are reading and the people you are clicking. You're not understanding the feedback are coming for it. In that part, all the boxes, you know.
Yeah, thank you.
You're not going to understand it. So you see, you want to put up defense that the law quoted somebody, somebody quote somebody, you don't use the quotation mark on the person that you quoting, you say, even when, for you, when you say anything to me, to woman that works to my friends, I said, people said, I'll be quoting you, right?
Yeah.
Yes, to me, it is exact. I'm not who's saying it, but you are the one who said it, and then I tried to explain it to my friends.
Yeah.
So, I want to say, my brother, that piece of thing I hate, my brother, as you use the same phone.
Yeah, brother. All right, thank you. Let me take this person. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sekou.
Quiet.
Yeah. My name is Ben. And I'm calling from Tottenham City.
Tottenham in Bombay.
You know, Arizona Kumi supposed to know by this time that he had no territory in Liberia here, politically. Even the recent public opinion poll, the Japan Tote, he only got one person that voted him.
Amen.
One person that voted him. One person voted for Mr. Honorable Mayor or Mr. Goglu. 15 person voted for George Manawia. Then 45 people voted for Pastor Boaka. For every time they conduct public opinion, so that he would just nobody calling his name. So he's supposed to be cognizant of that. So, you know, to come to himself and reserve his finance, to do something, nobody is going to carry on me. So I want even to about 2%. You will go 1.00%.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Papa.
0.0%.
Okay, da. Thank you very much from Bombing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much from Bombing County. That's all the time we've got to be here. Monday we'll be back here, and on Monday I'll play you the voice of Mr. Benina Yuri, where he's saying that he was poisoned, and it is the guys from ANC. Monday we'll be back. My name is Sekou Shari. Thank you very much for listening.
The 15 counties.
Linking international correspondence.
Breaking the news as it happens.
VOL News is the basement of trust and hope in Liberia and beyond.
We investigate.
Ask the high questions that lead to the facts. Analyze and balance both sides of the stories before reporting.
The news is our strength.
Be it politics,
health,
agriculture,
education,
environmental issues,
business climate,
the disabled,
and sports.
We dig beyond the surface of the happenings and report